Hi, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Sure, gladly. Hi. But I don't see you, Josh.
No, I just have audio on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh, well, awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview and being able to talk about this amazing album coming out next week through Frontiers Music with King of the Badlands.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Oh, not a problem. I've had the chance to be able to check out this album over this week, and I just really love what you guys do. And this does not sound like a debut. This sounds like a band who's been together like 5, 10, 15 years putting out their best material. And that's got me
Wow.
really excited about the future because I really love the variety that's also going on with this album too, whether it gets heavy, whether it gets somber, whether it gets more melodic. I mean, it's got everything that I would want in a band like this. And it's great to see that with an album like this.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted because that's the kind of stuff this is the album I would love to buy for myself as a fan. When we write songs, we always think, wow, what should we do better? What can we do better? What would I like to hear in a band? Or yeah, and I hate to skip songs. And that's what we hope to do. We hope to record an album which is great, which is a good listen, yeah, which has it all.
Well, well, I can definitely say on my end, I've yet to skip a song as many times as I've checked out this album. Like it feels like a full album experience from start to finish, and I felt no reason to ever feel compelled to skip a track. Like every song has a purpose, and it feels like it's in the right track order for this album.
Yeah, we even have those two instrumentals. I know many people think, wow, who needs those? But yeah, they have a purpose on the album. Just like, I don't know, let's say Queenstrike on Operation Mindcrime. They also had those short instrumentals.
Oh, very much so. And they
Yeah,
added so much to the album.
yeah, Waiting for 22 and yeah, the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel this way about those songs as well. I mean, not every song needs lyrics behind it, and you can tell so much of a story with the notes that are being played in an instrumental, and I feel that way with these two.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Oh, not a problem. So, thinking about that, I mean, how did this all come together? Like, how did the band start, and how did you know what direction you wanted to go in with this band?
We were already friends, Adrian and I, and Ovidio, our singer, was a good friend of Adrian. So yeah, long story short, that's how the band got together. And about the musical direction, we love the 80s bands, but we also love heavier bands. For my, I love Dokken, I love Winger, but I also love Slayer. So I wanted to take the best influences from my favorite bands and put them all together, mix them up, and yeah, that's our album. Let's say that was the blueprint for this album. Our influences, our heroes.
Oh, it's such a great way to do it too, and it still comes off sounding like original content too. I mean, you're paying tribute to what you enjoy with the influences, but it still sounds like this collective with Manic Sinners, and it's so great to see that too, where you can have this great variety, and it just comes out sounding like a band that should be well established. And it's great to see that starting next week that will happen. I mean, with this album finally coming out, I know people are going to be just as excited as I am to be able to check out the full thing from start to finish.
We hope we how can I put this? I hope your listeners and the people who are going to buy this album or stream it will tell, or they're going to hear the stories which we wanted to tell. Because really, every song was written from the heart with a single purpose to make it good. to make it good. That's what we wanted, to make real good songs which will stand the test of time.
And I can honestly say that I really do feel that way about this album. Like when I put it on, like every song does have that purpose, and it does go through so many different shades of music as well too. I mean, when you got like a heavy opener like you do, when you got those instrumentals like you do, when you got the ballads on there, it's just like it just makes it such a well-rounded album that makes it fun to listen to, rather than just a collection of all the songs sounding the same. It's just like it feels fully evolved.
Yeah. That's, you put it exactly right. I think, this is what we wanted to do with the record. We didn't want to, we wanted to have a ballad because we all love ballads, power ballads of the 80s or from the early 90s, but also make it personal, like the acoustic solo, for example, just to put it this way.
Oh, and I mean, that's so great to see that too. And when you can do things like that and being able to show off those sides of the personality, it's so great. And just thinking about that as well too. Like I'm looking behind you right now, and I can see like such cool gear that you have behind you too. Like so many cool looking guitars. I mean, a Marshall cab. I mean, you got like so many different things that can really help inspire that creativity.
I also have this camper, and I don't know if you know this camper gear. It helps me a lot with recording, with getting different tones, different sounds. Yeah.
And speaking of that, I mean, especially when you got something like a Kemper there, like, did you get inspired by any ideas using the Kemper for this album?
Of course, because you have so many options for altering your sound and get new sounds. And you just play, and then you say, "Oh wow, that's a cool riff. Let's use this." Or you have a great clean sound, and then you say, "Oh wow, I get inspired," and you play and play. This is how it comes up. This is how we write. This is how I write.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you got something like a Kemper there, when you have like so many different tones and styles and effects at your disposal, and you're able to like infinitely come up with like new ideas like that. It's hard not to be inspired when you got all of that at your disposal.
Yeah. That's really true. Yeah. This is exactly how I play, how I like to write songs, and how I came up with different ideas.
Oh, so cool. And, also what I do love about this album so much, and speaking of the sounds and the tones, is the production of the album. It just sounds so crisp, so clear. Like everything just feels so great. And it's great to hear that, especially on a debut album like that too. Again, that's why I feel like that you guys have, it feels like to me that you've been established for so many years and have put out so many albums, because when you got production like this, it sounds like this band has been around for a long time and just knew exactly what to do on an album like this.
You are right. The band, we are newcomers with Manic singers, but as musicians, we are maybe since the early 90s, mid 90s in business. So we knew exactly what we wanted, and we knew exactly what we wanted to do. And we worked a lot on the songs. So let's say we like to improvise, of course, and take part in jam sessions. But on this album, everything was written. We had our filter, let's say. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So we really took our time to write the songs and to arrange them and to write the lyrics, of course. Yeah, this is how we roll.
Oh yeah. And it's just like there's so many variables that can come with that too, making sure that you have the right group of musicians, having the right people behind the boards, making sure that you're going to sound the best way that you can, making sure that you keep the right riffs, the right solos, and especially when you're doing some improv too, just like knowing what's going to fit. And, in that live setting too, it's like, are you going to improv live? Or are you going to keep it exactly on the record? I mean, there's so many variables that go into it, but like you said, like being a musician, as long as you have with the rest of the band, and, just knowing what works and what doesn't work truly helps.
Yeah. It really helps. We had an exact idea of what we wanted the album to sound, the songs, even before they were written. We knew exactly we want to be, you said it, crisp. We wanted to be heavy. we wanted well-written songs, well-produced, yeah, and we wanted really to take our time. Time was such a big factor in writing and recording this album.
And speaking of that, obviously, making sure that you do have the time to be able to put out the best album that you possibly can. When you were writing the songs, obviously, with the songs coming together the way that they have, I mean, the right choices were made. But was there like any moments where you were feeling like if a song should be on the album or if a riff should stay? Like, is there any particular moments like that?
Yeah, sure. As we wrote the songs, of course, we came up with different ideas, different riffs, and this is exactly the right time to think, okay, can I do it better? Should I keep it? Should I try something else? And the album was self-produced by us, so yeah. And this was exactly our role, to know what to keep or what to throw away, which riff we should throw away. Or as I wrote the solos, I really, I have to say it again, I took my time to write them, to shape them to exactly what the way I felt right for this album.
And again, from the listener experience, I'm so happy that you guys decided to do that as well too, because I really feel like every song turned out the way that it should. Like, I mean, it doesn't feel like anything was left out in these songs. It just feels so great the way that they have turned out. And I can only imagine, if hopefully with the world getting back to some kind of normalcy at some point, that these songs would just sound incredible in that live setting.
Yeah, for that we will need at least 2 more musicians, because I play guitars and bass and Adrian plays drums, keyboards, and he also sings the backing vocals, and he plays some guitars and bass on 2 or 3 songs. So yeah, we're gonna need 2 or 3 musicians besides us.
Oh yeah, but until then, the fact that this album has come together the way that it has, and it's got so many great things going for it. I love the singles that you guys chose for the album and getting that representation. I think they were just like such great songs to be able to show off the album, and I'm glad those ones were chosen.
Yeah, we too. The first single, "Down in Flames," is already the last track on the album. That's pretty unusual, because most bands or musicians think, okay, let's put the first track on the album should be the first single. But yeah, we were bold enough to make this different.
Yeah, and it shows that it's really worth checking out the entire album when you do something like that too, because when that's the final track on the album, you want to be able to hear, well, what's everything that's going to lead up to this song?
Yeah, sure. You got it right. Sure, of course.
Oh, totally. And another thing that I really love about this album as well too, especially when it comes visually, is the album cover. I love the colors that's on this. I love the entire look of it. I mean, I feel like it really fits the album so well.
Thank you so much. Our artwork guy will be so pleased to hear this, because he's a great guy, but he also has a day job, so he doesn't do so much covers as he should. But we are his friends, and he made an effort to. But have you already seen the whole artwork or just the front cover?
Just the front cover so far.
You have to see the whole thing. It's so great. It's really great.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that too. I mean, just getting a look at like the physical version of it, and just from the album artwork alone, it just looks. Yeah,
it has a story. You have to hear it.
Oh yeah, totally. And I'm just imagining how cool that'll look on vinyl too, like being able to see that in full size like that.
Maybe sometime. Maybe, who knows? Maybe if the CD is gonna do well, maybe Frontiers are gonna come up with a vinyl version. I would love it.
Yeah, I just think that'd be so cool. But thinking about this, and of course with being able to get together, being able to write the songs, and taking the time to be able to craft all of this, like are you thinking at all about like what the next album could be, or are you just still focused on this album so far?
So far we're gonna focus on this album, but we already have one new song written, and we also recorded a demo to it, but it's not going to be the final version, that's for sure.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad to see that chemistry is still going. And when you got an idea to be able to work on something like that, just like, even if it completely changes, just like getting those ideas out there and just seeing what that landscape can be in the future.
We really don't know. We don't want to change our style because, as I said, that's exactly what we want to play and what we want to hear. But let's see how it's going to come up. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope we're going to make another record, maybe two. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm definitely pulling for that. I mean, again, I can't say it enough. I mean, if this is what you guys are doing with your first effort, I can only imagine how much stronger everything's going to be as the years go on, and just seeing that songwriting chemistry going on fuller and fuller. And I really hope that does happen too, because I really think we need music like this right now in 2022, where every song has a story behind it, where every song has a meaning behind it. And even when like we talked about earlier, even if a song is an instrumental, it still feels like it has a story behind it, and you can imagine it in your mind, like what's going on when you see the titles, and just trying to picture it in your mind. And I love an album like that, and I'm so glad that you guys, like you've mentioned before, being able to take the time to really make this the way that you want it to be.
I'm so overwhelmed by all the nice things you say, because it's exactly how it is. Every song has a story behind. Yeah, really.
Oh,
Really.
yeah. And the fact that you are able to do all of this, you were able to get the great sounds for it, get the great production behind it, the songwriting, obviously, and of course being on a label like Frontiers to be able to help promote this album and distribute it out there. I mean, that's just incredible in and of
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, they gave us a really big chance. It's something, it's unusual for them to sign a band from Romania. Okay, the other two guys are living in Romania, I'm living in Germany, but as I said, they trusted us, they gave us a lot of time, they didn't put us under pressure, so we are really grateful for that. Yeah, they are great. It's a big chance to band, to a project like we are, to be signed by them, and yeah, for them to promote our album, our music worldwide. It's huge.
Absolutely.
We are grateful.
Yeah. So thinking about that, like, did they give any thoughts on the album back, like when you sent it in for the first time?
The first time I sent, no, I wrote an email asking if they are accepting demos, but without sending anything. And they sure send us a couple of tracks, and they were interested, but they didn't want to, let's put it this way, didn't want to manipulate, because they trusted us. They heard the first songs, then they said, send us 2 or 3 more. And they really trusted our musical experience and the way we are writing songs, how the vocals were recorded. Those were early demos, and it was a smooth process.
And that is just so great to hear that too, because I mean, especially when you can find a label that does trust what you're doing, that doesn't want to give like notes on the direction that you should be going in, and just trust you to be able to make an album like this and be able to send it to them with that kind of confidence. I mean, I'm glad that Frontiers did take that chance on you guys and let you be you.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
they were really great. Yes.
Oh, that is just fantastic. And yeah, I just love hearing everything the way it's been going, and just seeing how smooth in relative terms how everything has been going with the band, with this album, and with the album coming out next week. I can't wait to see what others think of this album, and just seeing what's going to happen for you guys. And I'm really hoping for the best, because this music deserves that kind of promotion, and just being able to climb up there and just be able to have that fan base that just gets excited every time that you guys have new music on the table.
Yeah, thank you. We are very excited. It's something extremely new for us. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. And I think with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on. And I gotta thank you so much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about all of this. I can hear it in your voice how excited you are to be able to talk about this. And
Excited.
yeah, just knowing that a band like this is getting the response that it has. I mean, I've seen things online and just seeing people excited for the songs that they've heard and loving the videos that you guys have made for it and just wanting to hear that album. And I'm so fortunate to have been able to check out this album this week, given it as many spins as I have, and just really dissecting everything and just enjoying everything that's on this album. And I can't wait to promote you guys next week when I'm able to show off this interview, play you guys on my show, and just give that proper promotion on my end.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm extremely happy for this great opportunity you have given me.